Now, anyone that follows you on LinkedIn or YouTube or Insta will know that one of your biggest passions is for cars, particularly Ford cars, which I was actually very disappointed that you didn't turn up in a Ford car today, or you didn't turn up in your R8. I was very disappointed.
Which is doing nothing for my social media.
So when I got to the barrier, I was thinking, what is Jamie driving? Now I won't tell the listeners what Jamie was driving, but how did that come about? Because a lot of your posts on LinkedIn and in your personal and in Insta are about your passion outside of work.
Yes, it's interesting actually. Again, for our own challenges last year, I kind of opted to take a slightly different approach with LinkedIn because I like to be visible on LinkedIn. And so I tested the water really with it. And one of the posts last year had 500,000 views on LinkedIn, which is just insane. You know, it kind of went viral, and so people seem to like it, and I have some brand deals that I work closely with Ford in the UK and MSRT as well, who the Ford Rally team, but this is the subsidiary that makes the jazzy vans, which is why I had a van recently. But to go back to your question, why? At 2 years old, we used to live in a house with a window halfway up the stairs, and I was fascinated by cars. I used to sit halfway up the stairs, and my mum tells me that I'd want to know what every car was, and not just what make, what model, and I was just obsessed. And fast forward to when I was 12, we went to the airport, and I was told I could have a magazine, and I picked Fast Ford magazine, and I've still got that copy.
Fast Ford.
Yeah, God knows why. But I was fascinated. There was a white Sierra Sapphire on the cover with tiger stripes on, and I was like, this is the magazine for me, and I've still got it. I've got it framed on my office wall at home, and so I've always had an affinity with Ford. I think when I grew up, in our road, there were 6 cars, 4 were Sierras, 2 were Cavaliers. Fortunately, ours was a Sierra, and I can remember, a day out for us was going to the local Ford dealership, John Gross in Ipswich, and I'd just walk around, enamoured by the cars. I always remember we bought a Sierra Sapphire, and there was a black Sierra Sapphire Cosworth at the back, and I was obsessed and vowed I would have one, and I've actually had 2 now since, although a lot of years later. Then kind of, I've always liked cars, but I always had a car sort of thing, and then it got to fast forward to 2016, and again I love a quote, as you know, and there's a quote that I've got a little plaque of in my lounge that says, "Don't get too busy making a living that you forget to make a life." And effectively in 2016 I had I didn't have a lot going on out of work. I'd moved to the south, so through work again, so kind of moved away from friends, and so the social scene was more limited because I was so far away from home. And it was absolutely by pure chance that I had a Porsche Boxster at the time, which I love, fabulous car, and I decided I needed something more practical. So I wanted a Golf R because they were really, really, which sacrilege now based on what's happened since. Anyway, they were out, you couldn't get one. They were in massively short supply. So I suddenly, well, what can I buy? And it was a Thursday night. I was sat home on my own, went on to Auto Trader. I thought, I've always loved Fords. Kind of goes back to my roots. And the new Focus Mark III RS had come out, and it'd come out to a big foray with, Ken Block at the launch. It was the first 4-wheel drive RS since the Escort Cosworth, which was my dream car at the time. And I went on Auto Trader. I found this car in a dealership. It was brand new, and essentially rang them up by chance. It was a Thursday night, and they were late night opening. So I rang them around 6-7 o'clock. And I bought the car on the spot, blind, over the telephone.
Hadn't seen it?
Hadn't seen it at all. It was a brand new car. I thought, you can't go wrong. So I thought, what's the worst that can happen? And I rang my mum and I said, I've bought this car. She said, are you sure? You've not mentioned you want one before. It's a big decision. And I said, no, I've done it. And I got about 4 trains and collected it on the Saturday, and got home, and I thought, well, I've got this car now. I wonder if there's an RS group local to me. So I went on the internet, and sure enough, there was. I contacted them, and they said, yeah, we have a monthly meet. Why don't you come along? And then realised they started doing shows. So I started going to the shows with them, and again started building up a bigger social network. And then that first car, it was a white car. I replicated the tiger stripe livery from the Fast Forward magazine I bought I was bought for it when I was in 12, and that car became quite famous in the scene at the time. And you go to shows and people photograph the car. So my car started appearing all over social media, and initially I was really annoyed. I wasn't really aware of, Instagram was something I posted a picture of my dinner on at that point. Look at my new shoes.
Yeah.
That type of vibe. If you go back, you can evidently see that to my early posts. And I thought, well, if you can't beat them, join them. So I decided I would start posting pictures of the car myself. And then as I got more into the scene, Escort Cosworth was my dream car. So I bought an Escort Cosworth. Money was cheap. It wasn't making any money in the bank. So I thought, I've got the money, I'll buy one. And what was really weird was my first Escort Cosworth was registered on exactly the same day in 95 that my white Focus was registered, which was uncanny, really weird. And then kind of as things progressed, I realised that, I was creating a bigger profile in social media, and people seemed very interested, and I essentially started buying. I got more into it and started buying more cars, and then realised people then wanted to buy my car. So I thought, well, I wasn't going to sell it, but that's a good offer, I'll sell it. So I started kind of doing a bit of buying and selling as well. And fast forward to today, I've got 6 cars. Ford is my passion. I've got anything from the 1995 Ford Escort that my mum had when I learnt to drive in, which I love, to non-Ford Audi R8 V10 Plus, which again I love, but Ford's where my heart lies. Consequently, I was lucky enough to get one of the Focus RS 50 I had a Focus RS 50 evocation from Ford, but I managed to get a Focus RS Heritage Edition, which they made 50 cars worldwide for the last Focus RS ever made to celebrate the Ford Escort's 1968 to 2018 50th anniversary. And it's a unique car in orange, and it was a dream of mine to own a special Ford. I actually ordered it from John Gross Ipswich. So going back to being that 12-year-old walking around the forecourt, I actually got it from the original dealer, and that's one of my prized possessions. So I've got the cars, and from going from being 12 years old with a magazine, dreaming, I've amassed nearly 39,000 followers on Instagram. I've connected with a lot of people that I made really great relationships with and really enjoy. And you spoke about it prior about an influencer. I'm not an influencer. I'm just someone that has a passion. And latest news, which we're about to announce, is that I'm actually going to be writing full time for Fast Forward magazine now. So,
which is from buying it when you're 12 years old, is a full cycle now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're like the Arthur Daly of the channel. Jamie,
I don't know if I'd like
that's a compliment or not, but that's brilliant. No, that's brilliant. But Jamie, my last question, and I'm gonna say it on 2 prongs, because I wanted to say for you personally, what's the next 12 months for you in terms of your career in the channel, and also, like you said, 39,000 followers. What's your passion for the next 12 months with what you're doing personally as well?
So I'm very, very lucky that my career is one of my biggest passions, and I love what I do, and I love seeing the people in our business succeed. And for us, we have a saying, and I'll probably get shot for this, but I will share it. On our screensavers at work, it says, "Make extraordinary happen." And don't get me wrong, we do make extraordinary happen. I think it's been in the press recently. We kitted out the whole gaming section of Hamleys. I mean, what a phenomenal thing to do. Yeah, so we do make extraordinary happen. But equally for us this year, we have to make ordinary happen, because we've had 2 really challenging years, and we have to get, it's getting back to basics, old school, mucking in, getting back out there and telling the world that we're back, but we're not just back, we're better.
Yeah.
And for me, success this year is hitting budget. We don't have to do extraordinary to a point. I want to give great customer service, build back our reputation in the channel, show people we can do what we used to do, but better. And so for me, that's success. And an industry and a channel talking about, haven't Exertis done really well this year? That would be success. Personally, with my social media. It is a hobby. Some people have children, I have cars. So it doesn't. I mean, a lot of people have this peculiar view that, oh, Jamie's going to leave the IT industry and go off and do cars. I'm absolutely not. My cars is a secondary passion to what I do. The benefit is I get to use the cars to go to work. So it's kind of and ultimately the career fuels the passion, because that's what pays for it. I don't earn significant sums of money from social media. Could I earn more money from it? Yeah, I probably could. But that's not what I want to do. For me, I want Exertis to be recognised as one of the leading players in technology. That's what I'm here to do. And I have a hobby at weekends and in the evenings where I play about with cars. And, I'm lucky enough that I've had a career that's enabled me to enjoy my passion. And I don't ever forget that. And I think it's really important to remain grounded, because, I think the positive for me is, I've seen it in the past with leaders that have flash cars, and there's a resentment towards them because of that. And I think the positive I take is that people know and buy into my passion, and they recognise it's part of a passion. It's not a status symbol to me. I mean, nobody drives a 26-year-old Ford Escort for a status symbol.
No.
I do it because I love it. And, I drive the length and breadth of the country to source a pair of seats that I've been looking for 3 years, and crazy stuff like that. But it's a passion. It's what I enjoy. But, primarily for me, it's about making sure that Exertis is the best business we can possibly be, and getting our customers back on board, and just want everyone in our business to be the best versions of themselves and believe in our journey, and look back hopefully in 10 years when I hang up my stilettos and say we did that, and it'd be something that we're proud of, and that Exertis is recognised as a leading company in the channel.
Jamie, you've been a fabulous guest. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Mark.